Hey guys, welcome back. Just wanted to check, does everyone know there's actually 11 rounds to go? What this means is if you're sitting there with 10 trades, or 12 trades, you're going to use 4 this week. You're in single digits for less than 1 trade a week. Out of the first, 14 rounds, probably 1 round, 2 rounds max, you've been able to sit there and go, yeah, probably don't have to make any trades this week. Almost every week, we've had a suspension, an injury, or something like that happen to your squad. Remember, you're not going to win the comp or get your best overall rank in round 18, round 19. If you expect to have 3 trades left in round 19, or 4 trades left, or 5 trades left, and do really well, it's just not going to happen. You're going to end up playing the last 3 or 4 rounds with 15 players, and anyone who held trades like a normal human would just be passing you. So just keep that in mind. So I just wanted to bring that up because there's a bunch of guys that we're going, a lot in the comments I'm seeing that are getting traded out, and they really shouldn't be. A few of these guys, Payne Haas has even been looked at trading out when he hasn't been scoring as well. Pangai Jr. hasn't been thrown around too much yet, which is good. But you saw guys like Cam Murray after a bad game or two get thrown around to be moved on. In terms of other players in those two, it's not really in those two teams. More people are buying in the Sharks camp. I had a question about Tamalolo, and he has to hold him. You're playing. He's playing round 17. He's a previous gun, and that's going to be the talk with the majority of these guys that I'm going to mention here. I have most of them in my squad, to be fair, but they're guys that have been keepers in previous years, whether it be just last year or years in the past. And Lolo's been a keeper for a long time, and just hasn't had a lot of time on the park, unfortunately, and that happens sometimes. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out, and he's only played a few games, so he's only going to improve from here if he stays on the park. And if he gets injured or whatever, then you can trade him out then. But if you have no trades, you need to keep those kind of players on the park. So that's just something very simple there. Guys like Crichton, we've spoken about each and every week that someone wants to get rid of him after he gets 30 odd, and then he comes back with a 60 or a 70. Like just silly decisions with that for sure there. In terms of the Panthers guys, not really many there. Tedesco in and out. How many people wanted to trade him out, and now people are like, yep, ready to trade him back in. It's just back and forth, and it's just wasted trades for that kind of stuff there. If you knew if you knew he was gonna be out for a bunch of different games, then yeah, you probably could have traded him. But we didn't know he had that hip pointer injury a few weeks ago. Obviously, he hurt it in that game before the Origin. Um, if you wanted to trade him out then that was probably fair enough because you knew he probably wasn't going to back up from Origin and not play 17, for example. But again, it's just wasted trades. It's like people saying, "Oh, do we trade out Cleary and get him back?" It's just so hard to get him back in, and it's just is the 2 trades worth it? Are you going to get a big jump in points for a bunch of weeks or until round 18 before picking him back up? I don't think so. So that's that there. Tupanua, same thing. A couple of random bad games in amongst some 60s and 70s. So can't really do too much there. In terms of the Knights, you've got Connor Watson as someone who is the big target here. He's averaging 50 when he plays in the middle, and a couple of random games where he plays in 6 or 1 or whatever, he can score pretty well as well. But then he has the odd random lower game, and that's normal for everyone. And if you've got someone averaging 50 at the moment that you're like, yep, that's not good enough, get rid of him. When he's not hemorrhaging cash, like he's not losing it hand over fist, then I don't know why you're trying to move those guys on. We've got so many guys that aren't scoring well enough at the moment, and you're trading him. I get questions like, "Oh, I'm not happy with Watson's scores at the moment. Who do I trade him to?" If you don't have a clear option to trade a guy that's pretty much a keeper to, then that answers your question. If you don't have someone to trade him to, you should not be trading him out. So that's my thoughts there. Warriors, not really too much to talk about there with that one. Keep sliding along. We'll get along to our Dragons. So really not too many in here. McCulloch, I've had people like, oh, who out of McCulloch, Moses, and stuff are someone I should be trading out in the next few weeks. And Blake's coming off of 59. He's averaging mid 50s, high 50s. Had a couple of random low games in there, but he's scoring really well. I don't see why people are looking to trade him out. I'm waiting for people to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to trade out Ben Hunt now after he's 30. You haven't seen that one yet, thank goodness. But that'll happen next week if he gets 40 for sure. People are worried about getting Harry Naira now, or like even thinking about trading him out. I think that's silly. Who else we got? That's about it on the Raiders. But then you got like the Tigers and some big ones. Obviously, Dane Laurie, a couple of lower games, and he's probably used someone that he's definitely not a keeper. that you can look to trade out, and I'm completely fine with that one. But someone like Lucy Leilua, he's coming off a massive score a couple of weeks ago, and then everyone's like, yeah, I'm going to trade him in, and then he has a bad game, and people are like, yep, get rid of him, Yes, they're coming up against the Storm this week, and God, that's scary. I feel like I need to get rid of these guys now. Lucy's going to stay, but the other, Laurie and Dewey are probably the two I'm going to trade out this week. But yeah, someone like Lucy, he's coming off 56 average at the start of the year. He averaged 53 last year, and that was off the back of a slow start and then really picking up in the back end of the year. So there's every chance he just gets back to that. So yeah, I don't see the point in trying to move those types of guys on. And then you got to the Eels, for example, and I'm seeing people trading out Madison. Yes, he's had some lower minutes, but he did get 80 2 weeks ago, and then gets obviously a 30 and plays less minutes. But Madison's someone that averaged over 60 last year. Yeah, yes, his role's changed slightly, but even if you're getting him at a 50 odd average, it's so much better off. You're so much better off just keeping him rather than trading him out. And Moses is coming off a massive game, and if he averages somewhere in the 50s, you're happy with that as well. There's not that many guys that are averaging anywhere near 60. Yeah, they might have been averaging that at the start of the year. Papali'i's kind of held on slightly, but he's had a couple of low scores as well. So even the top guys have low ones, except for let's go Cleary and Averillo as our top two players in fantasy right now. But pretty much, isn't he? He's been incredible. So even Luke Thompson, we talked about him as being a good option. He comes in with 240 odds. So those types of guys, I think, silly to want to move on so quickly. After a random game or two. And same with Fogs. You could have traded him out after his 30 odd a couple of weeks ago, and then you miss out on his 92. So these types of guys like Madison and stuff, they have those try assist kind of games in them, and you could miss out on that if you move him on. So let's start with that one, guys. We'll move on to some of the comments. We're going to start with the Discord at this stage. Do a little Q&A as well. All right, so I have 14 trades left, but currently only have 3 players playing round 17. So go all out this week and make 3 to 4 trades so I can get to 10 playing in round 17 comfortably. 14 trades is a little bit low with only 3 players playing is pretty crazy. I'd probably suggest getting towards 8 to 10, and if you're going to make 3 trades this week, I'd make sure that they are either a cash out that's going to play in round 17 that definitely, like a Suwali or maybe it's a Verrills or a Kieran or that type of player. And then you're getting guns that are going to be playing round 17, where it's a Tohu Harris or a Reece Walsh or these types of players. I think is smartest. King of North, what's the urgency order to trade out of these players in the coming weeks? Yeah, here's that question I was talking about. Moses, AM9, Brayley, and Watson. Which hooker do I keep? Which do I trade? So he has 3 hookers. But Moses and AM9 and Brayley are all keepers, and Watson's a borderline keeper. I probably just don't trade any of them. And Watson, out of any of them, would be the one I trade first. So Boogie, worth bringing in Verrills this week to accommodate bringing in Tohu. So if you're bringing in Tohu, Verrills is going to be a solid one. As a cash-out option, I wouldn't have expected him to make money, but he'll be a scorer in round 17, which is fine. I'm completely fine with that trade. Luke Thompson or Marty Tapau. And yeah, someone brought to my attention about Marty Tapau, and he's been a little bit under the radar, which is obviously good. But here we go, got Thompson there ready to go. Obviously been scoring pretty well, averaging 55 for the season. He's going to be a great option. Coming off 2 lower scores, just no really attacking stats. So he's going to be fine going forward, you'd imagine for sure. And the other one is Big Marty. Marty Tapau at a very similar price, so 657. You can see why they're comparing those two. And since the start of the season, having a very quiet one, sort of a bunch of 40s there and a 35, he's then gone on a bit of a tear recently. And games of 65, 52, 46, 54, 58, and 74. So my worry with him was it was a bunch of games off the interchange, and then he's now got back into that starting prop position and playing over 50 minutes every week and scoring really well and being a bit of an enforcer now that they're playing a lot better. So think about it like that. So since the Manly boys started playing better and he came off the interchange there, sort of around 5 onwards for when Tommy came back, he's been scoring much better. And I can expect an average of where he's at right now very comfortably at 52. Is that worth it getting into your squad? Are you going to be happy to keep him all year? And he's a pod, 657, plays around 17. I think it's a fair bring in. In terms of Thompson or Tapau, I think they're going to score very similarly. And a similar price, pick whoever you like watching more. All right. Hey, Jamie, thoughts on Fisher, Harris, Laurie, and Watson to Harris, Suwali, and Papali'i? Who's the best option out of Kieran, Verrills, or Suwali? Okay, so Fisher Harris, why would you be trading him out? He's been an absolute superstar. I'd be keeping him for sure. I feel like these are wasted trades. Laurie, going out is fine. Watson's a bit of a waste, but to get Harris, I think if you can go, I think you're probably safer going 2 trades this week, Watson and Laurie, if you're going to make the Watson trade, and bring in Harris and one of Sawali, Kieran, or Verrills. And in terms of those three, I think Sawali's probably your Verrills or Sawali probably your best bet. Kieran, we don't know what's going to happen in his position. He's probably going to make a little bit of money over this but next period, but I don't think you're going to be able to make enough for you to be able to trade him out. So Verrills and Sawali are a bit cheaper. The other one to think about is Tomoko. I didn't speak about him in the other video, but more over the fact that we're not sure what's going to be happening with him going forward in terms of his position in the team. So obviously he had a really big game with 68 and had 2 games last year, one at 43 in centre. So he was someone I was speaking about in the preseason and just hasn't had his chance until right now. And he obviously did really well. 32 tackles, 5 tackle breaks. Sorry. Line break and a try assist, 120 metres. It was pretty much a perfect game in his debut this year. So I wouldn't be expecting scores like that going forward in a team that hasn't been doing that well. He will make some cash, but he also is 319, so he's hard to use as a cash out option. Very similar to Simonson. They both scored really well, and they're both about the same price. So he's someone that you could take a punt on. We also don't know when Croker's coming back, and you'd imagine Croker takes Tomoko's spot when he does. So he's obviously out indefinitely at the moment. That's my kind of worry about picking up Tomoko, is we're not sure when he's going to come back. So Simonson might be a slightly better option than Tomoko, but it's completely up to you guys. We don't really know what's going to happen, do we? We're guessing a little bit there. What do we got? Yes, another question like that. What's the order from highest to lowest? Priority sell, and it's got Laurie, Watson, Maddo, and Schuster. So like Maddo and Schuster, I wouldn't be trading out. Then Watson is the next least, and then Laurie's probably the only one I'd trade out, which is completely fine. Who should I keep as cover centre between Opacek and Olam? If it's just for cover, I'm probably sticking towards Olam because you can use Opacek's cash because he's actually got up around a 500k where Olam's under 400. So I'd probably stick with Olam in a team that's going to do really well, and he's not going to be someone that's going to be rested week to week. So that's that there. Is it worth hitting Verrills this week or wait to see how many minutes he gets as a backup? Yeah, you can just definitely wait. If you need to cash out someone to bring in a gun, then you can do that. But other than that, I'd be holding off. Luke 27, Teddy or SJ, bro. If I grab SJ, I'll have 8 for round A17, which I'm happy with. But Teddy is the cheapest he'll be. Just misses 17, possibly 18. Yeah, if you're thinking he's going to miss 2 games there, I think you just hold off until 19. Really, he's not going to get much more expensive than what he is now. He's over 600k, so he has to have like 2 60+ games to make a lot of cash. Like you can probably cop him being 650, 660, whereas SJ, you get a player that's going to play 17, 18, score well, get an extra player in that 17. I think that's the smartest option there. Is Mazu looking like a cashy? I mentioned him as a possible option, but again, we've got Corey Thompson coming back, and if you didn't pick him up in the last few weeks, then that's a bit of an issue. What else we got? Thoughts on everyone trying to bring in Verrills? Yeah, I don't know. They tried to do it before, and it didn't really work out, did it? Thoughts on picking up the Cheese now? Could be a good hooker mid-cover. Yeah, he's just on an absolute tear at the moment. He won't play this good forever. Yeah, most people have that real good purple patch, and then they go back to sort of playing like normal. So in a team where he has a lot of weapons around him, which he didn't have the last bunch of weeks, he's playing incredible. Don't doubt me on that. But is he an option? Probably not right this second. So that's that there. I think I'll hold Satili now that Boyd isn't coming back, and at the moment I've traded Watson to Isaiah Papali'i. Okay, fair enough. Can't really say no to that. Papali'i is one of the best mid/edges in the game, and holding Satili is completely fine. Yeah, Tupanua has decent weeks. He's decent, has good weeks when he scores. Watson's time to move on. Yes, they were helping this fella out with the trades. Quick question about Ponga. Should I trade him out this week and grab a bit of cash and grab someone like Toe or utilize his pod and wing fullback coverage? Oh, that was last week. All right, we'll move on to the comments in here. Thanks to all the guys that are helping out and commenting in there for helping answer some of these questions for me. I really appreciate it. I've been thinking about really good fullback options for a Laurie upgrade. I was thinking about bringing in Mazu, but would Tedesco be a good option? I'd be going Tedesco over Mazu. We don't know. Yeah, you wouldn't get Teddy any cheaper. And Mazu, we don't know if he's going to be in the squad long term. So that's that on that one. Alex Johnson over Bailey Simonson for round 17. Yeah, Johnson just needs a lot of tries. And he's already too expensive. In terms of Simonson, yeah, he could pay off, but I'm personally not going to do it. Laurie to Simonson with 15 trades left. Yeah, you have enough trades to be fair, but don't expect him to score amazingly. Is my thing. I think guys can go for it, but yeah, not for me. Flegler and Laurie out for Lustig, Suwali. Both? I know, one of them, and Papali, Eels or Talangi and Laurie out for Lustig, Suwali and Crichton. Crichton or Papali? That's the question, isn't it? I wouldn't be picking up Lustig. You get 2 more weeks out of him. If you're going to pick him up, it had to be last week to get that good score and a couple of price rises, but I don't think it's worth picking him up now. Suwali, I think, is that option, so he'll play 17. And then Papali or Crichton. I think Papali is just scoring better this year. Crichton could be the better longer-term option. Probably a flip of a coin. Pick who you would like to watch more. Gagai for Walsh. Gags is a keeper, I remember. Just remember that. I think you can trade someone else. I think you can find a better option to trade in for Walsh. Roger trade in. No, I wouldn't be trading in. I'm probably thinking about trading him out in round 18 because he will be playing wing up until that point. And then, yeah, unless there's a Walsh injury and you keep getting back at fullback. But yeah. What do you think of Ruben Garrick? I think he's too expensive. Yeah, you're trying to catch up. 650k is a lot for a winger. He's been on an absolute tear, and I don't think you should be bringing him in. This question was asked before I brought out my potential buys. So Cooper, please jump into the potential buys video and find a guy that I'm looking at in there. Thoughts on Rocco Berry as a cash out for Laurie? Not really. He might not even play in round 17. We're not exactly sure. So SJL Cody, I'd be going. It's actually a flip of a coin, hey. SJL Cody, both averaging, I suppose, mid to low 50s when they're there full time. I think actually it's a flip of a coin. Pick who you like watching more. I'm not going to answer that. Is Laurie to Walsh sideways? No, I'm happy with that. Go Laurie to Walsh. Or should I trade someone cheaper like Bird or Flegler for Walsh? No, go Laurie. I think it's fine. Go for it. Yeah, a couple of questions like that. Joshy Curran. Yeah, solid option. It's good to see what his role was going to be. And so 60 minutes through the middle and the edge is going to be fine to average 40 odd. But will he make a lot of money and be a keeper? No. So make of that what you will. Thinking of swapping Watson for Lawton since he plays 17. Yeah, Lawton will probably lose his spot to Schuster. And Sirenen's going to be close by, even though he's been in and out. So Lawton will go back to the bench. You need to pick him up a few weeks ago. Johnson or Bailey Simonson at round 17 fullbacks. God, people are scraping the barrel, aren't they? Held Tessie since round 1 better be worth it. Yeah, you hope so. SJ Nikarima, yeah, you already asked that one. Really appreciate the teamless breaks down, Jamie. How many trades should we be looking to have in hand going into round 17? All right, into round 17. So leading into that one, I'd be hoping for at least 12. And then you can make 2 to 4 round 17 to get some cash outs, maybe build some bank for your round 18, 19 trade-ins. Trying to decide if you spend any trades before then, I'll try and hold my team stable. So yeah, if you're sitting with so I got 15 myself, I'm probably going to allow it to get, maybe 2 this week. Allow it to get to what? That'll make 13, maybe 1 in round 16 if possible. If not, happy to hold. And then have 12 ready in round 17, maybe another 2 in 17 to get me to 10. And then probably another 2 to 3 over the next 2 weeks to 3 weeks there, and leave me with about 6 trades left for the last 5 to 6 rounds. I think 1 a week will be safe for the last 6 rounds. I think that's a good way to think about it. Benji had a baby. Thank you, Daniel, for that. I needed that. Thoughts on bringing in Payne Haas? Yeah. Doesn't play 17, maybe rested Origin. Thank you, ACDC Divids. Curran or Lawton. Curran just, but Duffy to Curran a good trade. It's okay. Thoughts on Rudolph. Need some round 17 players around that 400, 500 price. Do you need some round 17 players around that 400, 500 price? Because if you bring in someone like that and he just scores averagely, he's never been a keeper. And you got guys like Lucy and Madison who have been keepers the last few years that aren't scoring that well. So if you bring in a Rudolph, then it's like you're going to have to trade him out after that. It's just a waste. All right, 2 more guys. So with the year we have having players injured, suspended, it's better to go and get, say, 2 600k guns like SJ and Tedesco, or Haas, for example, and use 1 as 18th man. or go say Fafita and someone around 400k, like Foreign or Hess as 18th man. So my personal opinion, we've just been speaking about, is I've picked up a couple of guys in the 600s, and they've been really up and down and destroying my side and my how many points I'm getting week to week. So the top of the top are the guys that are doing really well. But saying that, Tedesco is the top of the top. SJ has been for a long time and has been a keeper in the halves and can continue to score in the 50s. Haas is also going to be great, but he's also having some down games as well. So Fafita is going to be really important as a trade in, like around 18, 19, 20, when he's going to be the top edge for the year. So just think about bringing in the top guys and go from there. There you go. Easy like that one. Interesting thinking. There you go. Good on you, Damo. Last one, think you bring in Wanga Blake in after being moved to the left edge. He's been playing really good. Scores 42, 65, and 50. What do you think? Also very cheap at 369. Yeah, so great scores. Can he keep doing it? Will he even be in the side long term? Is Nakora going to get back into the centres? Remember, Wanga Blake had a bad week a few weeks ago. Even when he scored that 42, his defensively was really poor. So remember, there's any chance that he could be traded, could be kicked out of the squad, and they don't play 17. So at that price point, I would be holding off. So actually, last one. Thoughts on Barnett? So for me, moving back to the middle, some decent minutes. He's going to be like a 50-point player. Do you want that in your side? For someone that doesn't play 17, probably not. Yeah, there you go. Actually, this is one of the ones I'm talking about. Adam Matto, Lucy, TPJ. Which two would you keep? Other one is going to Fafita. Why would you go to Fafita right now? Won't play in 17 and might have a limited role again in 18. Could get injured in Origin too. So I feel like all three of those are holds, and all three of them could end up being keepers at the end of the year. So I'd be holding still with those. I hope that helped, guys. Please do like and subscribe if you are enjoying these, and get your questions in. I try to answer them as much as possible in the Discord. If you DM me, I'm quite happy to answer those as well. Usually get to them all by the start of the week. But as I said, I hope this helped you guys, and we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Have a good night.